My name is Adam Marandino, and I am here today to give you an overview of how a tablet can be manufactured in a presentation that has been prepared by pharmaceutical industry professionals, including myself, Viva Miherwade, and Todd Alkire. Outside of the pharmaceutical industry, you may know this dosage form as a pill, but it is generally referred to as a tablet within the industry. I am going to take you through a high-level overview of the steps of manufacturing a tablet. In any manufacturing environment, it takes an entire team working together to produce a tablet that is both high quality and safe to make. Let's briefly go through the role of each of the departments listed here. The quality lab group is responsible for testing all ingredients prior to them being used in manufacturing and the finished product at the end of manufacturing to ensure they meet all tests on the specification. The quality assurance group is responsible for maintaining batch documentation along with performing any analytical or manufacturing investigations as needed for things such as a test failing, malfunctioning equipment, and so forth. There is also a group of individuals within the lab that develop methods to test the ingredients and finished product. Each ingredient and finished product has its own product specification and analytical tests that need to be performed on every single batch. Product development is responsible for evaluating, formulating, and developing the manufacturing process for a new generic drug after clinical trials have taken place. This includes testing and identifying the proper ingredients to ensure the medicine performs in the human body as it is intended to. There are many types of engineers that fall into the engineering category. Process engineers develop and optimize manufacturing processes. Equipment engineers maintain equipment and validate new equipment. Electrical engineers automate systems and equipment to ensure safety, reliability, and quality. Cleaning validation engineers ensure methods and protocols are in place to keep the manufacturing equipment clean and prevent cross-contamination. The maintenance group troubleshoots and repairs equipment as needed. This group performs routine preventative maintenance on equipment to ensure the equipment performs as it is intended to at all times. The safety group is responsible for ensuring that the site remains OSHA compliant, protections are in place for all hazardous chemicals used, and that processes and procedures are not harming the environment. The Regulatory Affairs Group is responsible for ensuring the manufacturing site and the products it makes remain FDA compliant at all times. The Manufacturing Group comprises the individuals who operate the equipment and execute the manufacturing instructions to make product. Now, let's take a look at some of the different kinds of dosage forms. There are many dosage forms within the pharmaceutical industry and that are made throughout the world. Here is an example of 4 dosage forms. Many, if not all of these, you may already be familiar with. Tablets are one of the most common dosage forms. This is the dosage form manufacturing process I will be discussing today. Capsules are another common dosage form that are seen in many products on the market. Solutions and suspensions are typically taken orally in the mouth, intranasally up the nose, or through drops inserted into the eyes or ears. Transdermal patches are applied to the skin and the medicine enters the bloodstream through the skin. These are just 4 of many examples of dosage forms that exist in the pharmaceutical industry. Now, let's take a closer look at the manufacturing of a tablet. There are countless processes that can be used to manufacture a tablet. This diagram illustrates one example of a process that can be used to make a tablet. This process is known as a wet granulation process. I am going to use this process to give you an idea of what a tablet manufacturing wet granulation process could look like. The first 2 steps in the wet granulation process are dispensing and dry blending. After being tested and released by the quality laboratory, the ingredients that are used to make the finished product are measured out to the exact quantities on a scale and placed into a portable stainless steel vessel. The portable vessel is then placed onto a piece of equipment that mixes the material by tumbling it 360 degrees for a predetermined number of revolutions. As the bin of powder gets tumbled, you can see in this image that the different ingredients are different colors. From the initial bin onward, you can see how the material begins to blend together as it becomes closer to a homogeneous blend with each revolution. In this image, you can see a homogeneous blend was achieved after 50 revolutions. The next step in the wet granulation process is the wet granulation itself, followed by drying. In wet granulation, powders are bound together using a liquid solution or suspension binder. The purpose of this step is to turn the fluffy powder into a granular powder to allow it to mix and compress better as we move to the next steps of the process. In the left image, the granulation binder would be added to the mixed powder from the previous step to wet the powder and mix it to make it more granular. Then the wet mass is transferred to the dryer, as pictured on the right, and the last step within this process is the evaporation of the binder, which leaves the original powder particles bound together with the adhesive binder. This drying is achieved by a stream of warm and dehumidified air that is admitted to the base of the drying chamber and exits the top. Once the wet granulation and drying process is complete, the powder is typically milled through a mill. The purpose of passing the powder through the mill is to obtain the required particle size, which is an important part of the product specification. As you can see in this diagram, the powder enters the mill through a funnel at the top and then proceeds through the machine to be milled into a finer particle size. The next step before the powder gets pressed into tablets is final blending. This is to ensure that the powder contents are homogeneously distributed throughout the entire batch. Similar to the first blending step, a vessel containing the contents is tumbled 360 degrees for a predetermined number of revolutions. There are various types of blenders that can be used. This video shows a specific type called a V-blender. The goal of this step is to obtain powder that is uniformly mixed and homogeneous. The next part of the process is pressing the powder into a tablet using a tablet press. The tablet is formed by the combined pressing action of two punches and a die in which the powder is fed. Most high-speed tablet presses take the form of a rotating turret that holds any number of punches. The image here flattens out the process of compressing a tablet, which occurs in a 360-degree horizontal circle. As you pay attention to the orange color in the diagram, you could see that the continuous action of the two punches compressing the powder in the die produces the tablets, which are ejected out and collected in a tub. Depending on tablet size, shape, material, and press configuration, a typical modern press can produce several hundreds of thousands of tablets per hour. In this video, you can see an actual tablet press in operation. As the turret goes around in a circular motion, tablets are formed from the punches and dies and ejected into the tub for quality checks. After the entire tablet compression process is complete, the tablets are ready to be coated. The last part of the manufacturing process prior to packaging is tablet coating. Depending on the purpose and functionality, there are different types of coating that can be applied to tablets, such as film coating for appearance or enteric coating for delayed medicine release, just to name a few. A standard tablet coating pan is typically 4 to 6 feet in diameter that typically has baffles and spray guns suspended above the tablets, as you can see here. Like a clothes dryer at home, the pan rotates in a circular motion with spray guns suspended that coat the product. The tablets are loaded into the coating pan and are tumbled, sprayed, and monitored until a target coating weight is achieved. This is very similar to spray painting a house. Once this is achieved, the tablets are discharged from the coating pan and are ready to be packaged. That is the end of the entire process for making a tablet by a wet granulation process. Now, the final product will be tested by the Quality Control Laboratory to ensure it meets all the test specifications. Finally, the product will be packaged. Tablets are typically packaged into bottles or blister cards. Pictured here is an example of a bottle packaging line. Unlike the manufacturing process we just discussed, the packaging line is one continuous process. Within this continuous process, bottles become unscrambled and lined up on the line. Then, the product gets placed into each bottle with a foil seal and cap placed on top. Lastly, the bottle is then labeled and boxed. From there, the product is sent to distributors to be delivered to pharmacies throughout the world. I wanted to take some time to discuss some of the future outlooks of the pharmaceutical industry and touch on these three items. As we move more and more into the digital age, many pharmaceutical companies are moving into virtual digital health. For example, there are apps that help diabetes patients manage their blood sugar levels. Another example geared towards prevention are personal diagnostics via smart devices. The digital age inspires pharmaceutical companies to adapt to meet the needs and demands of changing society. Customized treatments are personalization in medication driven by data-powered insights. This branch of treatment could customize drug remedies for individual patients. Developing and marketing these strategies would require the industry to adopt many new capabilities. As the push for personal wellness and vaccines gains more momentum, treatments and medication for some diseases may drop significantly in demand. Advances in early detection technologies will allow interventions to halt diseases in early stages before they progress. Overall, given the current focus on healthcare, the opportunities in the pharmaceutical industry are abundant and talented individuals are always needed to address healthcare challenges of today and tomorrow. That brings me to the end of our presentation. I would like to thank the University of Kentucky ISPE chapter for inviting us to speak. I hope that this presentation has given you a flavor of what it is like to work in the pharmaceutical manufacturing industry, and hope that it may have even inspired some of you to think about a career in pharmaceuticals. Thank you.